What's up, party people? This is Geared Up. It's our weekly live broadcast where we talk about gear, lighting techniques, we do breakdowns, we take your questions, have some fun, and talk about lighting. The question is, where should your light go, right? So it depends on what it is that you're trying to achieve. Today we're gonna be talking about it from a softbox perspective, but it really comes down to what you're trying to achieve, the look that you're going for, and are you choosing the right tool for that specific look that you're trying to achieve. So we're going to be comparing today small soft boxes, big soft boxes, close, mid-range, and further away to kind of get an idea of what that light's going to look like and what is you have to think about from a power consumption standpoint to a actual softness standpoint, because again, we're talking about this in the realm of soft boxes. So what you can expect from a softness standpoint, and really just it's gonna also have a little bit to do with the inverse square law and how that light's gonna fall off. Again, the looks that we're trying to achieve. That being said, I think we're probably just gonna jump into shooting this thing because really all we're doing today is we're talking about how these two different things look. So for gear purposes, for talking about what we're doing, I was trying to figure out why I was so like overexposed in the I kind of looked over to see where the camera was. I was like, man, really? No, it's not. It's the modeling light from this thing. See? Oh, we're good. It was freaking me out. Anyway, let's talk about what we're going to be using for lights and modifiers to do the comparisons. So we're going to stick with the same light. We're going to be in a butterfly style light pattern. I think for one light softbox stuff, I think the butterfly is really, really nice, especially if you're trying to control like weird shadows in the background or other things like that. So I know Kate will probably go out to the super wide shot here in a second so you can see, but we have a D30 on a boom arm, and it's gonna be, I'm gonna set up right in front, like, so what the main cam that comes up when you see me when we start up, I'm gonna be positioned just like that where you are. So lights directly overhead, beautiful butterfly light. Just for people who maybe are unaware of why it's called a butterfly light, the shadow that it makes under your nose looks like a butterfly kind of flying at you, like kind of like this little butterfly. Oh. So yeah, I'm also a world champion shadow puppeteer. But what that does is going to make a butterfly style shaped light underneath the nose, just from where the kind of light's casting down. It's really beautiful. It's a great place to put one light if that's all you're working with. I think it's one of my favorite light patterns. But that being said, oh yeah, I didn't talk about softboxes. We're going to go with two sizes today. So this is the OCF 2-foot softbox. I beat the crap out of it. It might be on its last leg. We're going to work through it today.
It works like a charm.
But yeah. So, but again, you know, I've had it since the OCS stuff came out. Like, this is a really old one. I honestly think this thing's at least 10 years old. So again, I beat the mess out of it. It's still ticking. So we have the 2-foot OCF Octa on a D30. So what we're going to be doing after that is, so we're going to go close, medium, distance. We're going to talk about softness and power consumption, and then we're going to go to a 4-foot Octa and talk about, you know, close, medium, further away. Again, talking about power consumption, but paying attention to the details of how soft the actual light is. We'll be looking, you know, at the shadow up underneath the nose, because again, we're going in that butterfly light style. So we're going to be looking at the shadow here, but we're also going to be paying attention to the shadow on the background. So something to keep in mind. And then we'll also talk a little bit about whether or not the 2-foot Octa in certain places is the right light shaping tool. So we will get after that right now. So let's do it. For model today, we have Kate, per usual, looking fab.
Thanks.
We're gonna be shooting on this little strip of tan because it looks nice. And then, yeah, it's fun stuff. My camera wise, people generally like to know what we're shooting with. I've got a GFX 100S version 1. I like it. I don't need version 2. I'm pretty happy with this bad boy. And I'm gonna be using I actually have my super wide lens on today. So I'm shooting with a 45, which works itself out to roughly a 20, I think it's a 28 millimeter on a full frame camera. That's just so we can go full body with Kate, because again, I want you to be able to see from top to bottom what we're working with as the light's closer and further away, and the stuff you have to pay attention to.
Help me.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, did you mess something up?
I did.
Pardon me?
It's not coming back.
I'm
sure you guys want to see what we're shooting.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes it likes to fight me.
It should be there now. And then you can flop them.
Yeah, we should always fit.
Yep, we're ready to rock and roll. Camera settings wise, f8, ISO 100 and shutter speed of 125. I do that to get rid of the video lights in the setting. So that's why we're set to like that. And from here, we're ready to rock and roll. You ready, Kate?
Let's go.
She put her handle up there in case you want to give her a follow. That's Kate. She's the best. So we're going to, I'm going to just be, because things are going to be a little bit more dynamic, I'm going to make John sad today, and I'm not going to use my light meter so much. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry, John. We're going to be using the Air TTL with the Connect Pro. So with this one, what I'm trying to do, just for the record with light position, I'm trying to not have to edit out the light shaping tool. So my positioning is going to be in such when we're up really close as to not have to worry about, I mean, granted, you know, if I want the shot to be what it is, I'll have to either extend the background or crop it in tight. Not a big deal, but I don't want to deal with this. So, and I think a lot of times the point of a softbox is to try to, you know, they're bigger, but it's to try to get it just out of the frame. So it's getting the maximum amount of softness you can get while keeping it out of the actual shot itself. So that's what we're doing here. So the light's positioned in a way that this right here is just above my frame. It might creep in a little bit, but I could crop it out. Not that big of a deal. I just don't want to have to do too much stuff with it. So first shot.
Sorry.
Get it together, Kate. What?
Sorry, I was just reading a comment.
Cool, we'll check the comment out here in just a second. Open that shoulder up just a hair for me. 3, 2, 1. It's lovely. So don't move. We're gonna do the whole we're gonna do the whole backup portion, and then we'll compare them. But you can actually look at that shot in and of itself, and you can see that she's lit nicely. She's lit really, really well. But the problem starts to be is if this is supposed to be a full body shot, which this is, it falls off really, really quickly. That has a lot to do with the inverse square law. That's also going to come into play right here. 3, 2, 1. And so we backed up about double, and surprisingly enough, we went up about almost a stop of power. So that first shot, we were at a power level of 7.7 on a 500 watt light. Right there, we're at a power level of 8.5. We're now going to back this thing up even further, about double the distance. Perfect. This should actually get us close to maxing out our power. But distance from light to Kate is probably what, 10 feet, 12 feet?
12, no, 10.
10 feet, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Yeah, 9.8, so we're not gonna back it up any further because that's gonna give us the full power of what it is that we're going for. Do you wanna switch it over to this and we'll do a quick comparison? So just.
Well, you just took mine.
No, I didn't.
Thank you.
We're here. So on the actual photos themselves, let's go here. Let me grab this for just a half second. We're trying this new thing where we flip the screen around, so I'm not looking way over there.
So that's why my screen was messed up.
Yeah, was that what it was? So, but we're here, and I can compare a lot closer. So things change sometimes. We're changing.
True story, your face is still covered by the screen.
I'm about to fix this. I'm about to fix this. Okay, cool. So let's actually, unless we're absolutely professionals. We're professionally unprofessional.
Yeah.
So, looking at the shots, we'll tell us, let's go up close and personal first.
Oh, great.
I know, sorry. So we're not gonna go too crazy, but we're gonna go more to the jawline side because Kate's head's turned away, so that shadow under the nose isn't gonna help us.
See the shadow of my hair.
Yeah, we can see the shadow of your hair, but I'm gonna worry about more like this jawline shadow. So let's get these all. I think someone told me once before there's a way to do this all together, and I think I failed every time I tried to do it, so.
If you know that technique, pop it in.
Tell us how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm probably still gonna mess it up. So, If we just look at the shadow themselves, you can see that the line of demarcation right here, it's got a really nice feather to it. It's super soft. You can even kind of see here under the nose, there's not too much of a shadow. I mean, there's a little bit of shadow, but it feathers out nicely. And then as we start to move that light backwards, what's happening is the light's actually getting harder. So yes, we are shooting through a softbox, but the rule for softness with light is the closer the light shaper is in relationship to your subject, the softer, or I'm sorry, not the closer. The larger the light shaper is in relationship to your subject, and that's the key word, relationship, the softer that light's gonna be, and the smaller that light source is in relationship to your subject, the harder it's gonna be. So it doesn't matter if if the octa never changes its size 2 foot, in relationship to your subject, that softbox is getting smaller the further it backs away. You can hold your hand really close to your face, and then as you start to back it away, you can see, to us, the hand is getting smaller. Softboxes are no different. So because of that's happening, we're actually starting to get more detail in the shadows. We're starting to get more, and by detail, I mean more definition of the shadow. So the shadow right here, the line's starting to sharpen up. We have a little bit of demarcation right here, a little bit of that penumbra, if you will, to kind of feather it out a little bit. But then once we back this sucker up 12 foot, I mean, that's a pretty stark little line. I mean, even if we go here to the nose shadow, we're starting to get a pretty solid shape here from the nose. So that is something we pay attention to. The other place that we can see the shadow detail is on the background. So here, when the light's closer, yes, it is still a smaller softbox, so we're going to get some more shape out of the shadow than we would with a bigger softbox. You'll see that here in a minute. But it's feathered out really nicely. As we start to back that light up, that softbox, or that shadow, is starting to harden up because the light is starting to harden up. So we're starting to get some sharper shadows here. You can tell between here with the light peeking through the arm there, we're getting a lot more definition here, a lot more consistency from this background to this one. And then when you go to the shot right here, we're backed up 12 foot, you're getting a really defined shadow. Yes, it's feathered out a little bit. That it is a larger softbox in relationship to the head of the light, or like a snoot or something like that. So we're getting some detail in there, but it does still have a nice feather. But I mean, look at the light here compared to the background. It's the same. So the light's getting there really, really evenly, top to bottom. It's a really nice exposed image if you're going for the full body, but it's not the softest thing on the planet. And if softness is what you're going for, then for a full body, a 2 foot size octabox might not be the move. And it might actually be more beneficial for you if you have a 2 foot softbox and you're trying to get a full body shot, to maybe change light shaping tools if you had to maybe something that's a little more efficient. That's not going to change that look too much, but will be a little bit more efficient, especially if you're on a battery powered system, if you're on the go. Things to think in mind there, the thing that comes to mind would be something like this Magnum reflector. It's not too much smaller than a 2 foot octa, but it's gonna be way more efficient. And again, that's for if you're on location with battery powered system or something like that, and you're trying to maintain that output. Which is bringing up a comment for me.
Oh yeah, let's see. Have you ever considered a black version of the zoom reflector?
Black?
I recently did an experiment and painted mine, and it gave an interesting effect. It directs the light without creating double shadows.
That's interesting.
That's cool.
I know that when we were experimenting with the white reflectors, that we essentially painted them first. Like we just took a straight Magnum reflector and we painted them with a certain type of paint. I don't remember what it was. Black's interesting.
I'd love to see.
If you could, I know Kate's got my IG up there.
Yes, I just popped it up.
DM me. I want to see this. I'm super curious. So please shoot me a DM. I want to see the image.
That's Jacob.
Very, very cool thought.
And then also again from Jacob, I like the silver one. It's harder than the white version, while also producing deeper shadows.
Yeah. The silver has a specularity to it that the white just can't touch. The nice thing about the white though is especially with the flat front lights, it gathers the light a lot better than the silver does. Now that being said, with stuff like the OCF Magnum and the OCF Zoom, those are designed specifically for the flat front, so that's not as big of a deal. But if you're talking about like OG Magnum versus the new Magnum, yes. Big deal. So, but that right there, that's the 2 foot octa with 3 shots. So close, medium, and further away on the distance, we can see again that we're getting more even coverage because of the inverse square law states that the farther the light is away from the subject, the slower it starts to fall off edge to edge. So we're getting more even illumination, whereas that same inverse square law with that light up close to Kate, the closer that light is to the subject, the faster it's going to fall off, and that's why her lower portion of her body is darker. So that being said, let's switch to the 4-foot octa. Let's do's it. So same thing, we're gonna stay on the D30. I'm gonna have to lower this thing down a little bit so I can reach it. And then we're probably gonna have to play with positioning a hair just to get kind of that 4-foot close in the same position. Come here, you little 2-foot booger. He's fighting me.
Yeah.
And I believe this is my 4-footer. They kind of set it to the side to make sure I could grab it quickly. Yep, cool. And I'm using, I know that we did like a comparison a few weeks ago, white interior versus silver interior on the softboxes. And we didn't find too, the softboxes were a little, on the white were a little smoother than the silver. The front mask was a little more even. In lieu of that, I made sure that since the inside of the OCF softbox is silver, we're using the silver interior 4-foot octa. So trying to keep it as apples to apples as possible. So on to this D30. By the way, don't sleep on the D30. This is a great little light. If you need a little studio flash to do something inside and plug it in, this thing's no joke.
Yeah.
This little bugger is no joke. All right, cool. So we're gonna have to go up. So jump in your position because I'm gonna have to play with the light positioning a little bit because it's definitely gonna start creeping into the shot. And the other tough thing is I've got ceiling heights to deal with and I have lights flying above head. So we are going to have to I might actually have to do the thing where I said I didn't want to, which is Photoshop the softbox out and to get, you know what?
I think we're all good.
I think we're actually good. I think whatever I just did was the smart move. Yeah, take that step back. I'm gonna try to push in a little bit because I do want to try to stay as close as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take that little bit of softbox creeping into the shot just for the shot. So here we go. TTL mode. Mind, just tilt the head back a little bit. There you go. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, soft, lovely, fantastic. Which is what you would expect from a much larger softbox. Stay right there. We're just.
Okay.
Cool. You happy with that? You gonna do one more?
Yeah, I feel short for some reason. What did I do?
You got shorter.
I need to be elongated.
Yep.
Elongate my body.
Here we go.
Think like a model.
You have one. Sorry, just gotta do a little bit of directorial stuff here. You got this one little straggler there that's making a funky loop. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Cool. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. So now let's back this thing up again to about that midway. See as we start to graze things on my ceiling. Yep.
Yeah, I know.
There goes a light. Hold on, we're gonna drop down just a hair. That's about that midway point.
Anybody else have these?
Yeah, anybody else?
Lovely obstacles, challenges?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody has their funky thing with their space or stuff you have to overcome when you're on location. It's okay. We're pros. That's why we're pros.
Right.
We get the shot. All right, cool. So just make sure we're all the way up. Perfect. So this is about that midpoint. So power level wise, the way that and I try to remember these numbers while we were doing it. Power level wise, as I smack my head into a softbox, we were at 7.7 on the close shot with the 2-foot octa. Same thing, 7.7 on that close shot with the 4-foot octa, and we'll bring everything up side by side. So hopefully this will get us about to that 8.5 power range that we were at just a second ago. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Yep, that 8.7 is the power on that one, so that is, we pretty much nailed the exact same position as far as the lights go, so that's good. And so now let's back this thing up to my camera level. I think actually I need to point it a little more forward. Cool. Softbox is over my head, softbox is behind my head. There we go. That's better. And I've been meaning to file down a little spot on my boom arm so that my light doesn't creep down whenever it's at an angle. I just haven't done it yet. So, you know, maybe I'll do that for a live when we talk about grip stuff sometime. So here we go. 3.
Hold on.
Get it together.
Jeez.
I thought you were a pro.
I am pro.
3, 2, 1. Lovely. And that power output is 9.2. I probably have a little bit more, I have about a stop of light to play with, but we don't need to. So let's actually now pull up these photos. And yep, so we're gonna compare these side by side, and then we're gonna go in and we're gonna compare them all together. So the 4-foot octa out of the jump, you mind switching over to the, or is it already on the side cam? No, it's not.
No, I got you.
Perfect. Perfect. Hello, everyone. So, looking at these 3 shots, they're very different, and you're going to see it here in a second whenever we go and pull up the actual softboxes side by side. But first and foremost, with the size of the softbox, we're already getting more light downwards onto Kate. So we're getting super soft light. So if we look at the shadows on the background, it feathers out really nicely. There's a little bit of shadow detail here, and the bulk of where kind of Kate's blocking the light from the background. But if we look here under the jawline, let's go jawline here. There we go. One of these years I'm gonna figure that trick out, I promise you guys. And we're gonna be living La Vida Loca. Perfect. So if we look here underneath the jawline, super soft. So, it's feathered out really nicely. There's no like definitive line of where kind of the shadow starts to feather into the light. It's really lovely. Again, here under the nose too, really lovely light. We go here to that kind of that medium depth. I would probably say, we're probably 6 feet away from Kate at this point with this one. And we're starting to get a little bit more definition in the line of the shadow itself, but really not that much. It's still a very soft light. And then as we start to back the light up a little bit further, again, still a nice feather, even though the line is starting to become maybe a hair pronounced. But when it comes to on the background shadow, we're still nicely feathered. There's a little bit more detail starting to come in here, kind of again around the bulk of her body, her midsection where she's going to be blocking the most light. And then here again, with the light backed up, it's starting to harden up a little bit. We can get a little bit more of that elbow detail here and that elbow detail here, and then maybe again a little bit of that light creeping through this opening in her arm. So there's that. So now let's bring them all up together. Let's go here, here, and here. So this should hopefully stack them all.
Hold on. We gotta trade this.
We gotta trade it?
Yeah.
We're trading stuff.
How can they see that? It's like,
I don't know. This is you. This is
Okay.
this is your gig. I'm a button clicker.
Yeah, you are.
I click
You
buttons.
click lots of buttons.
I click buttons. So, and honestly, they don't need to see my face. Let's do this. Cool.
There
You just need to hear my dumb voice. So that being said, if we look here, between these 2 photos of the light at relatively the same position, the larger softbox is going to give us more coverage. It's just broadcasting more light. That's what it does. The shadow detail on the background is very different, and that's obviously because large light shaping tool means that we're wrapping a lot more light than we'd be wrapping with a 2-foot octa. If we took these same shots, so if this was more of a, like a half body shot, maybe not a big deal, right? Let's see. Oh, come here. There we go. So if these were more like half body shots, not a big deal. The larger softbox is still more even. It is still a little more soft because you got 2 feet of softbox here that you don't have here. So the light's going to soften up quite a bit. But still, it's a lovely soft light. You just have to realize that the smallness of that light shaping tool and the closeness of it to the subject, that light's just going to fall off. Whereas because we have more surface area here, even at that distance, we're getting some more even coverage. Things to think about. Now, when we start getting here to this mid-range, you can see that we're starting to get a lot more of that shadow detail that we were talking about right here. Again, this is roughly 6 feet away from the subject, the light to the subject. So, but you can tell we're starting to get a little more detail here in the shadows. Whereas even at that distance, even though the shadow's starting to darken up a little bit again, and that at the bulk of her body, her midsection, it's still nicely feathered. And then here on the light where we're back up about 12 foot, this is essentially becoming a hard light. It's got a little bit of feathering on the edges that, like we talked about. So it's got the demarcation line is there. Whereas at that distance with the 4 foot octa, we're still nicely feathered. Granted, the shadow's starting to become a little more pronounced because the light has gotten harder in relationship to the subject, but still nice and soft and even comparatively. So again, they're all beautiful. They all consume about the same amount of power. We tried to set this up in a way that we were losing a stop of light, or we were having to increase the stop of light every time we backed up. So every time we tried to double the distance, 3 foot, 6 foot, 12 foot. And that's how we were able to stay consistent with the light output. But again, all things that you have to keep in mind. Now, the trade-off to going with going to a bigger softbox is you have to carry a bigger softbox, or you have to have a bigger softbox. So there's portability issues in there, and you can split the difference. We did this between a 2 and a 4 footer. You can split the difference with a 3 footer, or if you really love the direction the softness is going and you don't mind a bigger light shipping tool, we have an R5 5-foot octabox that would be able to do all the same stuff, but you're getting 6 more inches of light out of each side, making that extra foot. And so you're going to start to smooth out these shadows even more. So this is just something you have to keep in mind. So they all look very different. They all can be quite beautiful lights. This is honestly the 2 foot octa super close is probably more of a headshot. Oh, God.
Oh, you kind of did it.
Did I do it?
You totally did it.
How did I do it?
How do you undo it? I don't know how
to undo it. I did it and then.
Check out my tiger shirt.
Yeah, check out this tiger shirt. You're a cheetah or a tiger.
It's a tiger.
With the 2 foot octa, you're probably wanting to live more in the, more of a tighter shot range. With the fall off for me, I mean, this is acceptable just because the hand isn't that much darker than the rest of the body. So this is, half body with a 2 foot octa is where I'd live. Whereas with, the 4 foot super close, even with the fall off, 3/4 is great. You could easily get away with this 3/4 shot. Oh, I lost my little hand grabber. There we go. You can easily get away with a nice even 3/4 shot, and then once you start to back that light up, you're getting great illumination top to bottom here with the 4 footer. With the 2 footer, you're probably in that 3/4 inch range here. With that shot is the way that I would go that route. Hopefully this is helpful for you if you're shooting with this stuff. So the 2 footer up close, half body is probably where I would live. 2 footer midway, or 2 footer about 6 feet back, 3/4 is where I would live. And then, the illumination factor with it 12 feet away is perfect. You can go full body with that, but it is going to be a harder light. With the 4 footer, up close, 3/4 is great. And then from the 6 foot and 12 foot, you could easily be happy with that at full body if that's what you're going for, and they'd still be super soft. So things to keep in mind. Any questions from anybody so I can shut my pie hole?
So Fluffy says she would do despicable things for 3 more feet of ceiling height. Feel you.
Oh my gosh, I would.
Yeah, right.
I would commit insurance fraud for 3 more feet.
Oh dear Lord.
For 3 more feet of height, and I probably shouldn't say that because our house actually had a flood a few months ago and we're in the middle of it. But I would blow this thing up. I would blow this thing up for 3 more foot of ceiling height.
Even 3, just.
Oh, dude, 2 feet. 2 feet would be magic. 3, what's happening right now? But yeah, so we always need more ceiling height. But that being said,
I need to switch you.
Yeah. It's all yours now.
Back to my domain.
Yeah, let me kick this out of the way. So again, the whole point of this was to show you that softbox size matters. It does, especially understanding what it is that you're trying to achieve. It makes a big difference. It's going to not make or break your shot, but it's going to prohibit you from doing certain things. And now, why does this matter? Let's talk about why this matters in the first place. If you are shooting on location, say you got an editorial gig and you need, you have these specifications of the shots that you need, but maybe you're in a smaller space. yeah, you might pack the 2-footer, but if you need something with some more coverage and you have a smaller space, it might behoove you to bring a little bit bigger modifier with you so you get the coverage that you need, even if you're at a closer proximity to your subject. Just something to keep in mind. If you like that little bit harder look, with a little bit more of that feathered, then maybe the 2-foot octa is the move. It really is going to come down to personal taste, but understanding what the light can do at certain distances, what kind of coverage you're going to get out of that, what the, how the light to the background is going to compare. These are all valid things that you have to pay attention to. So, any other questions from anyone before I sign off for the day?
Speak quietly, carry a big softbox.
I like it. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna have a shirt made. So cool. If you have any questions, Kate, I know multiple times, it's up there right now. My Instagram, DM, and actually that's kind of all my handles for all my social. Reach out to me. Let's chat. If you have any questions, to the gentleman who spray painted their Magnum reflector black, please.
He said he's going to DM you.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. I want to see this. I'm very, very curious. But if you have any questions, hit me up. I love to chat. If you have any actual lighting questions, we can yuck it up. We can dig through some stuff. If you're having some challenges, we can talk about it. Let's have a good time. I'm super accessible. Sometimes I forget to check my message requests. I promise I'll get to you. I haven't forgotten about you. I just sometimes forget to hit that button. Sometimes. In the meantime, I hope you have an awesome rest of your week. If there's anything that you want to see, let us also DM me, let me know. But have an awesome rest of your week. We'll be back next week. Peace out, everybody.